Hello there, my name is Joe, and I'm going to be demoing a substance that I've been working on that automatically randomizes parts of your texture in order to produce a brand new tiling version of that texture. So, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to do the quick start guide so you can get up and running as fast as possible. To start this off, what you want to do is click and drag in your Texture Randomizer SBS and link this up to an output. You don't really need to, but this is just for a demo. And then next what we want to do is grab the texture that you want to randomize. I have a few right here that I'm just going to be testing with today. So let's grab that one and put it in here. And all you have to do from here is pretty much just link it into the randomizer texture input node. That do its thing. Alright, there we go. And that's pretty much it. And if you want to compare the two textures that you just made, all you have to do is go into the node here, click on it, and then under Inputs and Exports, there's a drop down here under Texture Outputs that lets you change from randomizer texture to the original texture, and you can toggle between these two to compare between. So there's the randomized one, and there's the original one. And since this is a substance, all you do is change the random seed here, and you can pretty much generate a brand new, unique tiling version of this. Pretty cool. And that's about it for the quick start. Alright, onto the more nitty-gritty options of this substance. Now, you probably noticed under this drop-down there's another third option called Debug View. Now, if you turn that on, what that pretty much shows us is the random chunks that are being distributed along the original texture. Now, this is really handy if you just want to know where pieces of your mesh are being chopped around. And of course, this is again procedural, so if you want to move the random seed around, you can see where these chunks are being randomly generated. Okay, let's go back to the randomized view here. So let's say you have a texture that doesn't quite tile, like this guy right here. Pretty cool looking texture, but obviously doesn't tile. But that's totally okay because what's built into this node is an automatic tiling option. So if we'll link this up here, we'll go into here. Let's go back to the original view, and underneath that there's the input texture auto tile. So if we turn that to true, you'll see that it automatically makes this into a tiling texture. Now keep in mind this is using Designer's built-in tiling node, so although it's very fast, it's never going to be a custom tile job. So this option is simply in here if you got to go fast. You got to make that substance really quick. Alright, moving on from there, we'll take a look at the masking options that we have available. I'm going to switch to the debug view real quick just so we can get a better look at this. Alright, so by default, these mask chunks are being generated automatically for you. Now if you want, you can use a custom one right here under the randomized mask switcher. So let's go ahead and turn that on, switch to custom mask, and let's just drop in a quick polygon. And let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And drop that in. So now you'll see that it's basically using whatever texture we happen to put into this slot here. Pretty cool. Okay, so moving on from that, we have a simple blur intensity. This is just your basic blur effect that's applied to it. You can see that going there. I find that one's a pretty decent value. And this is pretty much in here if your base texture is either too sharp or too blurry. This just helps you match your mask so that it kind of blends in a lot better. And underneath that, we have two more. There's the noise scale and noise intensity. Now what these are referring to is along the edge of your masks, there are very slight procedural noise texture that's being applied to it. And this basically just lets you change the scale of that noise. Let me turn off the blurs so it's easier to see. So there's the scale. And here's the intensity. That's just really helpful for adding a little bit of edge breakup to your masks. And finally, we have the randomizer mask scale. Now, this is only for the default mask, but pretty much it's what the name implies, is it just changes the scale. So let's switch back to the default mask. There we go. So you can see that it's changing the scale. Now, if you want to change the scale of your custom mask, you can just easily add a scaling option, whatever you choose before you plug it into the randomized custom mask slot. Okay, well, that pretty much wraps it up. I hope you find this helpful in your work, and if you do, please share it. And I'd like to thank the Rainbow Six Siege guys for showing off their awesome workflow and ultimately inspire me to make something that tries to do something similar. All right, thanks for watching.